Okay, I wanted to review what we've learned so far before we add even more properties to this. So our first exponent rule we learned that is if you're multiplying them together and they have the same base, you keep the base the same and you add the exponents. That would be the same if it was a number as a base too. So if I had 3 to the second times 3 to the third, you keep the base the same and you add the exponents. Then yesterday we learned if there is a exponent outside of a parentheses, then you multiply those together. It's the same idea even if there was like a 2 in front. You have to remember that has an invisible 1, and so you would multiply to both of those. And then you would keep going. In this case, 2 to the third is 8. So we have learned what you do when you multiply. We've learned what you do when an exponent is outside of a parentheses. Today we're going to learn what do you do when it's division. So there's a lot of fraction things, but don't be intimidated by them. You'll learn how to do them. Today's goal, so it's 7.5 and you're simplifying involving division and exponents. So what do you do when you're dividing with the same bases? Just like all of these rules only apply if they have the same base. So you can pause if you need to write that down. We're going to come up with a rule just like we did all those other times. So if there's 5 to the 7th, that would mean there's 7 5s on top. And there's 4 5s on the bottom. So if you just look like right here, 5 divided by 5 gives you 1. So those go away. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So imagine canceling, and you'd be left with 5 to the third on top. Over here, if I wrote them all out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And again, x divided by x, that would still be 1. So these would cancel. And you'd be left with x to the second on top. So what is the shortcut? If you look, it was 7 over 4, subtract, and you get 3. 9 minus 7 would give you 2. So that's how you can do it without writing them all out, is to just subtract. This is an important slide. You should write this down. Okay, this is the most important slide up here, I think. To divide powers the same base, you subtract the exponents. That's probably your summary tonight. You should subtract exponents. Make sure you subtract the top minus the bottom. Always remember to do that. And put on the top of answer. In the end, if something still has a negative exponent, then you move it down to the bottom. So let's see how this plays out. You can pause it if you need to write those down. So this is where the top minus the bottom idea comes in. They have the same base. I'm going to subtract top minus bottom. That gives me negative 6. So right now I get d to the negative 6, but you guys know that that means that goes to the bottom. So that would be your final answer. Number 2, same idea, just look at the k's first. K is to the 6th on top and to the first on the bottom. 6 minus 1 gives you 5. But then 2 minus 5 for the j's gives me to the negative 3rd. So I'd have to keep going. K to the 5th would stay on top. J to the 3rd would move to the bottom. My last more simple example, you're going to subtract the top minus bottom for the x's is 4 minus, but be careful, it'd be minus negative 3. You guys should know that minus a negative turns into a positive. So you actually get x to the 7th. Y has an invisible 1 here. 2 minus 1 gives you 1. You could write the 1 or not, but there's no negatives, so you are done with that one. So make sure if you're minusing a negative that you end up adding them. Here's another example. Some people like to figure out what 6 to the 5th is and 6 to the 2nd is first. You can do that. Or just realize they have the same base. So just subtract the exponents. 5 minus 2 gives you 3. And then y, subtract 3 minus 10. That should give you negative 7. So that gives us 6 to the 3rd, and then you put the y to the 7th on the bottom. 6 to the 3rd, though, you can keep going. 6 times 6 is 36 times 6. You can use a calculator. You should get 216 over y to the 7th. So a little bit harder just because